When her message appeared on my screen, I read it twice, maybe 3 times. I can't touch you, nor kiss you. The dots at the end made it worse. They didn't feel like an ending. They felt like a door closing softly, locking from the inside. Her name flashed at the top. Laura. My wife. 12 years together, 9 of them married, 2 children, 1 house, and suddenly, a wall taller than all of that between us. At first, I thought it was a joke. We'd argued the night before, sure. A stupid fight about her staying late at the office again, and me complaining that she'd stopped even saying goodnight before turning her back. But this message felt deliberate. I stared at the text, waiting for the dots to blink again, the signal that she was typing more. They didn't. When I got home that evening, the house was spotless but cold. Her shoes were lined up neatly by the door, her purse resting on the counter, the faint smell of her perfume still hanging in the hallway. But no sign of her. My son's room was empty. The babysitter said Laura had picked them up early, said they'd spend the night at her sister's. I poured myself a glass of water, but my hands trembled too much to hold it. The message kept replaying in my head like a cruel echo. I can't touch you, nor kiss you. Was that shame? Disgust? Or worse? Had someone else already replaced me? For months, things had been fading between us. She avoided eye contact at breakfast, left the room when I entered, laughed softer when I tried to make her smile. I thought maybe she was just tired, stressed. But tired people don't send messages like that. Around 8 p.m., I walked into our bedroom. Her side of the closet looked lighter, some clothes gone, a few of her shoes missing. My chest tightened. Then I saw something on her dresser, her wedding ring, lying next to her perfume bottle. That was the moment it hit me. She hadn't just sent a message. She'd delivered a verdict. I sat on the edge of the bed, scrolling through old photos of us. Vacations, birthdays, random nights when we looked like a team. I tried to find the exact moment we'd started becoming strangers. Was it when she got that new position at work? When she started spending more time mentoring that new guy, Chris? Or maybe it was when she stopped answering my calls after 6 p.m. I didn't know. But I knew one thing. The woman who once promised to stand beside me now couldn't even bear my touch. So I made a decision. Not out of anger, but clarity. If she could live without me so easily, then I'd stop begging for scraps of affection. I'd reclaim whatever pride she'd chipped away. When she came home the next morning to pick up a few more things, I didn't shout or ask questions. I simply said, "You don't have to worry, Laura. I won't touch you or kiss you. Not anymore." Her eyes flickered with something between surprise and guilt. "Mark, it's not what you think." I smiled faintly. "It never is." She stood there, arms crossed, as if she wanted to defend herself, but words failed her. There was a moment of silence. Then her phone buzzed on the counter. She flinched before picking it up, turning slightly away as she read whatever message appeared. And that's when I noticed her smile. Small, private, the kind reserved for someone else. My stomach turned. I didn't say a word, but in that instant I knew. Whatever distance she'd created wasn't emotional anymore. It was physical. Someone else had already crossed it. That night, I decided what I would do next. I didn't sleep that night. The walls felt like witnesses, holding secrets they wouldn't tell. Every shadow, every sound reminded me of her. How she used to hum while folding laundry, how her hair smelled of citrus when she leaned close. But now, even her scent felt like a ghost. By morning, I had already made my plan. I wasn't going to confront her with shouting or accusations. I'd just stop being the desperate husband waiting for an explanation that would never come. I opened my laptop and pulled up our joint account, then quietly transferred my savings into a new one. Not revenge, not spite, just preparation. Because something inside me whispered that the life I'd built with Laura was already gone. That afternoon, I drove to her office. Not to argue, but to return something, her ring. When I walked into the lobby, the receptionist looked startled. "Oh, hi, Mr. Sullivan. Laura just left for lunch. With Chris." Of course. The name hit me like a slow punch to the ribs. I stepped outside and saw them across the street. Laura laughing. Chris leaning a little too close. Her eyes sparkled in a way I hadn't seen in years. For a second, I thought about storming over, demanding an answer. But instead, I took out my phone, snapped a picture, and walked away. That photo wasn't for blackmail or exposure. It was for me. Proof that I wasn't crazy. That the silence, the distance, the cold messages had all meant something real. When Laura came home that night, she looked uneasy. "We need to talk," she said softly. I nodded. "We do." She sat down across from me at the dining table. The same place we'd once planned vacations and birthday parties. "Mark, I've been feeling lost," she began. "I don't know what's wrong with me. I just can't connect anymore." "Is Chris helping you reconnect?" I asked quietly. Her face froze. The lie hovered at her lips, trembling, but she didn't speak. I slid my phone across the table. The photo glowed on the screen. Her shoulders sank. She didn't cry. She didn't apologize. Just whispered, "I didn't mean for it to happen." I almost laughed. Isn't that how all betrayals start? With things people don't mean to do, until they mean everything? "I'm not angry," I said finally. "Not anymore." She looked up, confused. "You're not?" "No, because I realized something. You may have stopped loving me a long time ago, but I stopped respecting myself when I kept trying to win you back." Her eyes glistened, but I didn't feel sympathy. Just release. I stood up, walked to the bedroom, and handed her suitcase to her. "You can stay wherever you've been finding your peace. I'll figure out the rest." She stared at me like she didn't recognize the man in front of her. Maybe she didn't. That night, I sat on the porch with a glass of whiskey and watched the streetlights flicker on. The house was quiet, almost peaceful. I thought about our first kiss, our wedding day, the moment she told me she was pregnant. I let those memories pass through me, soft and distant, like a movie ending. A week later, the papers were signed. She didn't fight. She didn't beg. And that told me everything. Months have passed now. Sometimes I still think about her message, the one that broke the spell. "I can't touch you, nor kiss you." Back then, it felt like a curse. Now I see it differently. Maybe it was a message from the universe, not from her. A reminder that some love stories aren't meant to last forever. And sometimes the hardest touch to lose is the one you stop offering yourself. So, when I got home that night, I decided I'd never chase someone's affection again. Not her. Not anyone. Because sometimes the real revenge is peace.